I am Eli Halpern, and you're watching Cast Burgers. Today we got a very special episode. I'm very excited. Today my guest is Johnny Mitchell, stand-up comedian and author of Days of the Trap.
Hey.
You sold a bunch of drugs.
Yes,
and
indeed.
then you went to prison.
Yeah. One usually follows the other, you know?
You have an interesting story, man.
Thanks. Yeah, it was a journey.
It was
a journey.
So you were selling weed and coke?
Yeah, so the whole thing started with weed and ended with weed. The other drugs were just to support, whenever the weed whenever the weed business wasn't really hitting, then I would go off into other things. But essentially, the nucleus of what I did was marijuana trafficking. And this was in the days of the trap, the days when it was a smuggling operation, the days when it was illegal. Now prohibition is basically over. I know we're in Texas and it's still, you still get in trouble for it. But, back in my day, the reefer was illegal, it was a legitimate way for young men to make money, was by running pot. And so, yeah, so we started off, nickel and diamond in high school, bagging up dime sacks in my parents' basement. And, by 2010, I'm doing 25 grand a week, just shipping it off to the East Coast. So
in profit?
Yeah.
Damn. What's the most money you've ever had in your possession?
Including like my re-up and everything, 700.
700 grand cash.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have it all in one place or all around town? No,
it's all scattered all over the place, which is incredibly stressful, as you might imagine.
What kind of places?
You don't get a lot of sleep when you got 700, even if it's in my mom's garden, there's paranoia. It's like, Jesus, is somebody going to dig that up?
I don't want to. Can we talk about the book? I know.
Sure. No. I mean,
spoilers or anything.
No, but I mean, let's promote it.
So I read this book. I read the whole book front to back in about a day or two.
Thank you, man.
It was very well written. Obviously, it's got to be well written because he's a good comedian. So you got to write well to be a comedian.
And I try to make it funny.
It was funny. It was emotional. I almost teared up sometimes.
Oh, thanks, man.
It took me on a ride. It was great.
Thanks. I really appreciate that.
And what the fuck was I about to say? God damn it.
You were waiting for that pack of White Claw, I think.
That is what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, it's shitty production. If if we had interns with half a brain, they would have had it up here already. But, they're down there fucking shoving their thumbs in their ass.
So, So your mother threw away a duffel bag with $50,000 cash in it.
So you see why I couldn't get any sleep?
Yeah.
I had 50 grand and I was planning on moving it. Like when you have that much cash coming in and out, like I would just need a couple of days just to figure out where I was going to put it. You know what I mean? So I had $50K that I needed to move and I just didn't, I was out of space. And so I wrapped it up. I took 50. I would have bricks of, bricks of like, I had bricks of 1,000. So 50 bricks is like this huge, it looks like a kilo of Coke, right? And I wrapped it up in duct tape and I'm like, okay, I'm going to put this in my parents' bathroom just until, just give me a week and I'll find a hiding spot for it. And,
why didn't you hide in your bathroom?
It's a good point. Because I wasn't living there. I was already out of the house. So I duct taped it underneath my mom's sink in their bathroom. And but it fell down. And so while she was cleaning one day, this stupid bitch, Mom, I love you. This stupid bitch finds just a giant duct tape brick. Now, look, I don't expect you, Mom, to know that that's money in there, right? But it's a large,
it's got to be something,
inanimate object. Maybe put it aside. Or take a knife, open it up, see what the fuck it is. It's pretty rare that just a huge giant ball of duct tape in a perfect rectangle shape is just in your bathroom. So anyway, she just doesn't know what it is as she's cleaning, so she chucks it in the garbage.
God.
So there was 50 grand in a landfill a couple days later when I came over to get it.
In Portland, Oregon?
Yeah.
Go out and get it, folks.
Yeah, a garbage man's salary as that garbage man was driving off with it. Yeah. So which is crazy, but like And of course I was furious, but I'm like, well, I'll get it back next week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how much money was coming in. So it was a wild time.
So at the peak of your operation, you were solely shipping?
Correct.
So that probably takes a lot of the, like, because you know, you look at you're like a white guy. You look like a cop, kind of.
Thanks.
Personally, for
Well,
me,
no, fuck you.
I get told I look like a cop a lot, which is it's really hard for me to buy drugs.
Right. Exactly.
I remember when I was in like South America and shit. And they're like, "You DEA?" And I'm like, "Bro, if I was DEA, I'd probably know how to speak Spanish better."
Right. Definitely.
They'd be sending a good undercover.
Sure.
That'd be a shitty undercover. But
and you're a fan of, you know, you're a fan of coke. You could have just like showed them. So like, here, I'll prove it right here.
I hate cocaine. Do you want to get some later?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to get some. I don't want to do it, but I just want to get it just to know that I still got it. You know.
I still got an addicted personality. You know, I'll try anything until I become addicted to it. Yeah. So, fuck, man. I think there's a lot of great parts of the book. But one of my favorite parts is your first time doing stand up.
Yeah, in jail. That's a true story. That's a true story. They used to have these talent nights at the Two Rivers Correctional Facility.
Was this in maximum security prison or jail?
Yeah, this is maximum security prison. And so they had talent nights, and it was like they would get violent really easily. Like it was old school. Like if you stunk, like it was like the Apollo, but just filled with murderers in the crowd. And they would start throwing shit. They would throw oranges because that's what everybody has in prison. There, oranges are ubiquitous. Oranges and hard-boiled eggs. They would boo. They would fucking throw oranges. They would throw oranges at like an old man playing a harmonica. You know, these guys had no patience, had no empathy. So I went up there one day and I was roasting just these goofy prison guards, and I was roasting like this. He was like a counselor. When you're in prison, you get assigned like a counselor, like they're gonna help, like they're gonna do something for you. You know what I mean?
How would you describe counselors?
Well, they're like social workers. Like, so everybody gets assigned somebody, right? When you go in, even if you're doing life,
do they give a shit?
You get a guy. Most of them don't. No. Most of them are just there for a paycheck, and they act like they're doing like a service. Most of them are bitter and really hate the people that they're supposed to be representing. So it's all under the guise of rehabilitation, but it's punishment, you know. But anyway, so I was, you know, I'm just going off doing impressions, fucking cussing the audience out, and I just fucking murdered. And I had no idea I wanted to do stand-up. I didn't even know what I was doing was a form of stand-up. It was more just like an act. Like I went up there to mimic, all of these people.
And you were like calling out the groups.
Yes, and I was exactly. So I was roasting the Aryan Brotherhood. I was roasting the Black Guerrilla Family. I was roasting the fucking the Mexicans. You know what I mean?
That's so badass.
Yeah,
that's fucking great.
And it got me respect. Like afterwards, these lifers, these dudes doing fucking 30, 40 years, these gangbangers were coming up to me like, "Oh, that was so funny, dude. That was so fucking funny." And I'm like, wow, this is a way to get respect. Like, this is powerful. So that was the first like seed in my brain where I was like, oh, maybe I could fucking go into show business. Still didn't know. I still didn't think stand-up comedy was an option, but I was like, maybe I can fucking go to Hollywood. And so I started writing screenplays, and I was like, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be in the movies. I'm gonna be in the movies.
I feel like you got that pit bull mind, like, where when you get an idea, you just fucking latch onto it and you don't fucking let go.
Yeah. I don't let go until, I have to. Until there's nothing left.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's been a benefit, and it's also, ruined my life. So everything that I've been good at, everything that I've wanted to do in my life, first it was sports, then it was drugs, then it was show business. I just give everything to it. I'm one track minded,
Oh, you were a basketball player, right?
Yeah, as a kid.
That was another thing.
As a kid, yeah.
In prison, that initially got you some respect.
Yeah, that's right. Dirk. They called me Dirk after Dirk Nowitzki because I was lights out from behind the 3-point line. Just fucking wet. So yeah. So that initially got me respect, yeah. And then the comedy shit. So you gotta have something when you go to the joint, man, or else it's gonna be a long bid. Gonna be a long bid.
What do you mean by something? What would you recommend to a person going to prison?
Well, who are they? You know, like I don't know you.
What would you recommend me going to prison? What do I do?
Oh, fuck. You're such a, well, I don't know what you want me to, I don't know what adjective you want me to use to describe you. People are, the gangs, you're very impressionable. Like you're a super cool, earnest guy, but you're also, it's apparent that you're malleable. So you probably try to get recruited. People will try to sell you drugs. People will try to, get you to do, foul shit. I'm not that way. Like people see me, I'm not really that approachable. I'm not that likable at all. And so they kind of were like,
wait, you think I'm likable? Yeah,
you are but you're able to get along you're able to hang out with fucked up weird people. I mean, look at your production staff, right? I mean, you guys you're a bunch of degenerates.
I'm likable to degenerates.
You got 1 foot in prison already, with the people you're hanging out with. Me, I'm not like that. Like I don't, as soon as I got to the joint, they were like, this guy's just odd. He just doesn't belong here at all. You could almost, with your kind of countenance, you wouldn't stand out that much in prison. Yeah,
I'm just take that as a compliment, I guess.
Do it. So you would be fine. Like but you would have to click up probably depending on where you were, what state you were in, or if you were in the feds or whatever. If you were in the feds, you wouldn't have to click up with anybody, but in the state prisons, you would definitely.
I'd probably have to pretend like I'm not Jewish, huh?
Oh yeah, you're a fucking Jew. That's incredible. Yeah, no, literally what's so ironic is you're a Jew and the Aryan Brotherhood would recruit you. Like the Nazis, you would have to be in a Nazi gang.
Yeah, if I ever go to prison, I'm getting a nose job first.
Dude, that's a good bit right there. Yeah, like I look like I'm in a Nazi prison gang and I'm, a huge Jew. So, but for me, like they barely bothered like the in the book I have beef with the Nazis, right? With the white power crews or whatever. In reality, it didn't go that deep. Like they did try to test me, but after a while they were like, this dude's not even worth it. Like he's just not, we don't even want him. That's how much he sucks. We don't even want him in our fucking gang. So,
were you like the same person back then?
I was a little more shy. I was a little, but I don't know. I feel like I've always been
because you're like pretty
guy.
Outgoing and like.
Yeah. I've always been a friendly guy. Like I've always been fascinated with people. So I was always trying to talk to everybody. Like I never had that much judgment. Like I was always asking too many questions. I was always asking people, what they were in for. You're not supposed to do that. So I really had no business being in prison. And it really is a miracle that I wasn't killed now that I think about it. Like I just never, comedians don't like rules. And when you go to prison, there are rules. There's institutional rules, but then there's the real rules, which are like what the inmates said. Yeah, those are the rules that, you really got to follow or else you're going to fucking have problems. And it caused me problems, which I won't go into now, but you can read it in the book.
How were you living like day to day when you were making this much money? Like how was your lifestyle?
Yeah,
Did it correspond with your income?
No. I was always about profit. I've always been about spending less and making more and just hoarding that money. And
you might be a Jew too.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm a Scot. Scottish we're the Jews of the whites.
Never heard that.
Yeah, we're the next to. Actually, we're worse. We're cheap. Jews are not cheap. They just need a discount. And you guys make and then you invest. Scottish people don't spend. We hoard. We're the cheapest ethnicity. Besides maybe like Indians. Indians are real cheap too. The gas station owners and shit. But I was all about travel. Like I was just about doing whatever I wanted with my day. So if I wanted to pick up and fly to Manhattan for a week and spend $1,000 a night, a 23-year-old kid walking around Manhattan with 10, 15, 20 grand in cash in my pocket, and I'm staying at the nicest hotel on fucking 57th Street. That's what I'm doing. You know what I mean? I'm going to Colombia for a week and blowing 20 grand on whores, whatever I'm doing, right? So that's kind of how I like to live. I wasn't that flashy. I mean, it never have been. It's not really been my style.
Did you ever take any of that for granted at the time? Or were you like, fuck yes, this is my life. This is awesome.
I was like, this is awesome. It was a constant buzz. It was the most thrilling, scary, exciting shit. I mean, it was power. I was like, this is incredible. I can't believe it. Felt like I hit the lottery because I struggled for so many years just to make a living selling weed. Like originally the whole goal was to pay my rent. I just didn't want to have a job. I wanted to have a house and a car and just no job, just enough to make a living, right? Just kind of like comedians, like you're struggling for so long. You're like, I just don't want to have a day job. And so that finally happened. And then I blew up. I made connections on the East Coast. And that's when I started to make crazy money. And it felt like I hit the lottery because I didn't expect it at all. You know? Yeah,
because weed is more expensive in the East Coast.
Yeah, especially back then. So I would buy a pound for the way the prices are now. It's so different. I would buy. So I'm from Portland. And so we would go down to the Golden Triangle, which is Northern California, Southern Oregon. That's where the most abundant outdoor marijuana in
you mean
the country.
Emerald Triangle, or is that a different place?
I don't know. They're all triangles.
Emerald Triangle is Humboldt, Mendocino.
Okay, yes, exactly. I didn't know it was the Emerald. I thought it was the fucking whatever triangle. They're always trying to give triangles. It's so fucking annoying, bro.
Bermuda Triangle.
Right, it's all triangles. The DEA is always trying to give like triangle affiliations, whatever. So
a square is too many points.
Right. It's not as flashy either. They're like, oh, the heroin triangle. Shut the fuck up, hacks.
The heroin rectangle. That doesn't roll off the tongue.
Yeah, I guess not. Yeah, the heroin octagon, dude. So I would go.
That actually sounds dope.
It's pretty tight, dude. The heroin octagon.
Shoot up and go.
Dude,
put some gloves on.
I'm trying to go to the fucking heroin octagon. Step into the ring and just nod off.
Winner by TKO. He nodded out. No punches were thrown.
Yeah. So I would drive down there, and that's when we found the grower. The whole idea was to find a supplier where you could get the wholesale prices at. And back in the day, you couldn't just knock on somebody's door like you can now. Like you had to be connected. You had to have a huge bankroll because there'd be like a minimum amount you'd have to buy for a grower to even fuck with you, right? So when we finally found a grower, that changed everything because then we were getting the best prices. Like we were the connect. You know, there was nobody higher on the ladder than us. So besides the grower, obviously. So we would go pick up pounds, 10, started out with 10, got up to about 20. I didn't like transporting more than 20 at a time. So I'd buy 20 pounds at,
Can you fit 20 pounds in a trunk?
Yeah, for sure. Just two duffel bags. 10 a shot. And then take a pound that fluffy and try to get on camera here, and then put it in the vacuum seal. It shrinks to like a football size almost. It's amazing. So we buy 20 at a time, safe, $2,200 we would spend. I would spend per unit, and each unit would resale in New Jersey, New York, Connecticut for $3,500 per unit.
Jesus,
bro. So that's $1,300 per pound times 20 a week, And obviously I have overhead. I pay people to drive down and pick it up. I pay people to stash it, but I'm still profiting $1,000 a pound.
How much money did you have in your bank account?
Hardly any. Kept no money, almost no money in the bank. A couple grand here and there,
So
But I had money in safe deposit boxes and shit, which is stupid. Don't do that. They'll find it. They'll find your shit.
That was going to be my next question. If you could go back in time and talk to yourself when you had 700 stashed, what would you tell yourself to do differently?
Oh, my God. Get out of the game. Stop now. You don't need $1 million. You don't need $1 million. What are you fucking doing, you dumbass? You don't need $1 million. You need a couple 100,000. 100,000 even. You could quit, and if you invested that right, especially if you're a single guy with no kids, that could change your life.
Yeah.
So I would start laundering it through cash businesses, which I was planning on doing. You know what I mean? Like I had a plan to get out of the game. Like I knew that it was going to end. I just got arrested first.
You were going to buy the hotel.
In Colombia. I was going to buy the piece of. It was in Cartagena. Cartagena. It's actually a little town called Taganga, which is. Back in the day in 2010 when we first went down there, 2009, it was like about to blow up as a tourist destination, like because Colombia, the secret was out, like the hottest chicks in the world It's not that dangerous anymore. You can get coke for like what it costs a Red Bull prices.
We were doing,
you know what I mean?
Dude, we were
wild.
I met like 4 Canadian dudes.
Yeah.
And
animals,
those
Canadians.
We were going through, I think like 10 grams a night.
Go back to minute 4 when Eli said he didn't like coke, was not a fan of coke.
I hate cocaine, and I'm gonna do it more probably.
Right, so it's kind of like how a fat chick hates pizza. She's like, oh, get it away from me. She hates ice cream. She's like, oh, take this fucking kilo or I'm going to do it all. Stop me. Oh, I'm being bad. Oh, I'm doing... Oh, God, it's my cheat day.
Yeah, I'll do cocaine and then hate myself for it. I don't like cocaine. I just like the way
So how much were you doing
when I pick my nose the next morning?
Yeah. So how you were buying
Did you
it
think I was going to say something hacky?
That wasn't not hacky.
Well, because like the, I just like the way it smells. I was trying to do a little misdirection there.
No, I liked it.
Let me know in the comments.
So yeah, more on this, more on these hot joke writing tips.
Wait, did you know that the Colombian ass is like a world phenomenon? Like you go to Colombia, everyone's got a nice ass.
Yeah, well,
I thought it was genetic. It's all fake.
It's all fake. It's all fake. It's all
just
fake.
have good doctors.
Titties fake. Doctors. Ass is fake because
I was disappointed.
But a lot of them are real, dude. Those bitches, I mean, naturally they have tons of beauty too. But yeah, no, a lot of fake asses, which whatever, I'm fine with.
By the way, Cartagena is the only place I've ever traveled, one of 2 of the only places I've ever traveled where I've been in an unsafe situation.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
yeah, me too. Cartagena's sketchy as fuck.
I was going up to everyone asking for blow.
Yeah.
I would go up to someone told me.
And you got in a sticky situation. No, you don't fucking say.
Listen, I never claimed to be a rational, intelligent person.
Yeah. So what happened?
Well, first of all, I was going up. I was in Bogota.
Yep.
I didn't find anything there. Also, they have like police dogs on every corner.
In Bogota, yeah. Well, those are actually bomb sniffing dogs.
That's what I was thinking.
That's where Pablo, during the Coke Wars of the Pablo's era, he was setting off bombs in Bogota.
Really?
Bogota was the most dangerous city, because they were trying to force the government to roll back the extradition laws, which they actually succeeded in doing. So that's why. So people are still like to this day paranoid as fuck. So it is for drugs, but it's really for fucking bombs. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So, but Cartagena, dude, it's all these little black kids that come out and they know like 3 words of English, and it's all like, "Hey man, I got whatever." In Cartagena,
yeah,
half of them are black.
When's the last
That's where
time
all the blacks live. But they didn't all move. 10 years ago, yeah.
Dude, I was there a year ago. I barely saw any.
Cartagena got gentrified in 10 years? No, it's like where the poorest people in Colombia live, or on the coast, dude. I mean, it's like rich, touristy, and then it's like poor black. That's the way the Caribbean is.
When I got there, I went to a restaurant. I asked for chips and salsa, and I was like, oh, shit, I'm racist. You speak the same language. This is not Mexico.
You're like, God, I haven't seen any Mexicans. This is crazy.
I have a friend who just refers to South America as fancy Mexico.
He just calls Spanish Mexican. He's like, man, this Mexican is really different. This dialogue of Mexican's weird down here in Colombia.
But yeah, so I was asking everyone for blow.
Yeah.
I got a gram for...
You're asking the cops?
I think $2, and it was shit, and I didn't care. It was $2.
Dude, I got a connection. So I have... Go ahead.
But yes, some people told me that the people selling phone chargers were the guys to go to.
Oh, interesting.
This is when I was in Medellin.
Oh, yeah, Medellin. It's also the guys that are pushing the carts, selling candies and shit. They all have weed and blow. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, "Tienes un cargador para mi nariz?" Which means, do you have a charger for my nose?
Yeah. Wow.
And they all just laughed, and they're like, "No, sorry."
They're like, "No, but I have Coke."
Everyone. No, they didn't have it.
It'd be funny. The guy spoke perfect English. He's like,
It took me
you want some blow?
Like I was telling you, dude. Everyone thinks I'm a cop when I'm traveling.
Right.
Drugs,
right.
So,
yeah.
It was hard for me.
I'm still not sure you're not a cop.
Listen, buddy.
So
you're under arrest.
So next time you go there, you got to talk to me, because I am connected in Medellin still. Like, this is how crazy. This is how deep I was. So I can get a kilo. I know the lieutenants of one of the cartels in Medellin, so I could get a kilo for 2,000 for the cut, for something with a little bit of cut. It's 1,800 American for a kilo. That's $1.80 a gram. For the pure, it's anywhere from 22 to like 25, but that's on the high end. So I can get a kilo of Coke for $2,200 in in Medellin. So
the hell am I doing podcast?
Let's book our flights. Let me see what time we can get out of here.
How would you wait? Did you smuggle or have
in the country? I did
smuggled from Colombia.
No. In the country though, I transported it when I was down there. So I would buy.
Would you know how to do that?
I'd mail it. So what I'd do is probably
from Colombia.
Yeah, I'd have it shipped.
Successfully mailed Colombia.
No. I know how to do it though. I didn't. No. But in the country, I transported it.
That wouldn't work.
I transported it from Medellin to Bogota. So I had bricks of weed and I had ounces of cocaine because I was selling it to like tourists and shit. So, dude, I was blindfolded. This is my first experience buying wholesale drugs in Medellin. And this actually went in the first version of the book, the first draft. It didn't make the final cut, but this is a true story. So I met a connect. I met a guy who was going to hook me up with the connect. I was at a cafe waiting for the guy to arrive. Waited like 5 hours. I'm hammered at this point, just sitting drinking. It's my first day ever being in Colombia. And I get picked up in the back of a yellow cab, like a pedestrian cab, but the light's off. You know what I mean? So it's a special taxi. This is how they move drugs around the city. They use taxi cabs. So, and they got a taxi driver working for them. I get in the back. I'm met by two guys, two big fucking, toad-looking men.
Cone-fed motherfuckers.
Yeah, and they blindfold me. I'm like, oh boy, this is happening. This is like some Johnny Depp Blow type shit. This is some George Jung shit. They take me to this neighborhood in Medellin, this nondescript. I think it's called Envigado is the name of the neighborhood, and that's where Pablo's from. But it's in
like up on the hills.
Yeah, it's in a bad part of that barrio. And so they take the blindfold off. I get out. It's a street. It's it's kind of like a shanty neighborhood. They have kids with walkie-talkies on the fucking roofs riding bikes around. It's completely controlled by the narcos, right? Anytime there's a raid, they're going to know it coming, hours before it happens. And this is in 2010. This is like after, the so-called cartels were fucking taken out. You know what I mean? And then, yeah. So
they probably got iPhones now.
Exactly. They're all the technology. They keep up with all that
They're
shit.
Live streaming.
They're fucking TikToking, cutting some guy's head off.
Dude, there's crazy shit on. There's people in prison on TikTok.
Yes, so dude. Everybody in prison has an iPhone. It's crazy.
So weird.
It's so corrupt. You can't fit that inside your asshole. That's a prison guard bringing you in the latest iPhone.
You put heroin in your asshole.
Yeah, I put a balloon of heroin in my asshole.
How was that?
Don't spoil the chapter. But yeah, it was.
Sorry.
You know what? Call me a fanook, but it didn't feel too bad. I was like, don't come.
Really?
I was walking.
Really?
I was walking with it in my ass. I'm like, don't come.
No
don't come,
fucking way.
Don't come. Yeah, I shoved it way up there, and it got stuck. So I had to fucking use a Bic pen, like tweezers, to try to fucking dig it out of my asshole. It was like a tampon that gets stuck up a bitch's twat. So I'm like fucking scraping it. I finally feel it. I'm like, oh, thank God, dude.
Were you hard?
No, I wasn't hard. I mean, I was terrified that I was going to get caught with it.
But you felt like you were going to come?
Because it was like hitting my prostate.
I've never experienced that.
You never put your own finger up your ass?
No, dude. Why are you talking to me like I'm the crazy one?
Where you and I differ, dude. That's where you and I. That's where the road splits, baby, between you and
Listen, I put my finger up my ass, but that's to shove in a hemorrhoid suppository.
Well, you don't do it when you have hemorrhoids. When you're a young, healthy man with a healthy rectum. I mean, you never played with your ass as you jerked off?
No, dude.
Yeah, neither have I. But anyways, so going back to Medellin, so they walked me into this safe house. They let me into the safe house. I mean, I'm like, this is crazy. That guy's loading.
That's where the stash.
Yeah, it's where the stash house was. Where the guy who's running the neighborhood, where they keep the shit at. I mean,
after this, let me know how you earn that trust and build those connections.
I'm a trustworthy cat, man. I've always been that way. Like people just like for some reason they're like he's too skinny to be a cop. He looks like a stork. I don't know what it is, but I've just been able to fucking
friendly look.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm like, you look like too much of a pussy to be a cop. I'm like, you might be right about that. But anyways, there's guys loading guns in the fucking, this guy who got shot recently, he was like a brother of one of the lieutenant who's running the neighborhood. He was in a wheelchair. They're like, yeah, he took a bullet in his back last week. Ooh. There's like a chick, there's like one of their, I think their mom is like making fucking plátanos in the fucking kitchen. And I go upstairs. I
love those.
And they're like, okay, how many do you want? And they just put 5 kilos, 5 bricks of weed into a fucking, into like a black garbage bag. And I walk out of the door with it. Take me back to my hostel. Crazy,
How
bro.
much was 5 kilos of weed?
I think it was $60 a key. $60 for 500 grams, $60.
Was it like the shitty Mexican weed?
No, it was the good stuff. They have good stuff called cripa. Like they do have shitty weed, but they also have, the Colombians are ahead of the game. They have stuff called, like hydro.
Yeah, have you heard of Bolivia Negra?
Black.
So, okay.
Black
so,
Negro Bolivian?
I mean, yes, that's what that means.
I've never seen a Negro Bolivian, have you? They're all pretty short and brown.
I've never been to Bolivia.
Oh. Ever seen Butch Cassidy, the Sundance Kid? Butch, when I say let's go to Bolivia, let's go to someplace like Bolivia. Classic Robert Redford. Sorry.
I'm sure someone got that.
Sorry to just bring down the energy with my fucking film dork reference. Anyways, go ahead.
What was I talking about?
I don't know.
Charlie, what was I talking about?
Bolivia Negra.
Oh, yeah. So, the DEA, I read about this when I was in Peru and Colombia. The DEA had like teamed up with the Peruvian or Bolivia, Peru, Bolivia, and Colombia.
Have like a joint.
Coca is legal.
Right. Correct.
Not cocaine.
Right,
Coca,
the plant yes.
that it's extracted from, which means cocaine is plant-based and it's natural. You just got to put some other shit in it to extract it.
Just some gasoline. No big deal.
Yeah.
Just remember you're doing
acid.
Just remember you're doing gas when you put that up your nose.
Yeah, that shit's gas. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we probably shouldn't do it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit's rat poison. Yeah, why don't we fucking just grab a beer?
Some good petrol. So what were you saying about that?
So do you know what Roundup is?
No.
Roundup is a pesticide that Monsanto created, and they genetically engineered. Like when you say like, no GMOs, fuck that.
Right.
GMO is what they're doing is making plants that are resistant to Roundup pesticides. So if you
I thought
spray
about gay
Roundup,
man's oral.
Roundup?
No, I think. First of all, you hear him screaming. You hear these idiots screaming downstairs. They're listening to us. Go ahead. So it's Roundup. No.
All right. So if you spray Roundup on a regular plant,
right,
it'll die along with the pest.
Right.
So they genetically modify the plants to not die from that. So it just kills the insects.
Right.
So they took a similar approach to coca because the DEA teamed up with the Bolivian government to try to crop dust all these coca plants and kill them.
Right.
So Bolivia Negra is like a new strain of a coca plant.
Holy shit, that's resistant. That's fucking incredible.
Yeah.
And did somebody like invent that? Or is oh wow, that's fucking brilliant, dude. Those guys will never not figure out a way. The worst thing that can happen to those cartels is that coke becomes legal, which they're already talking about. It's going to take a few decades, but that will happen. We'll probably live to see the end of the drug game. How fucking crazy is that? The end of the drug trade. It almost makes me sad.
Yeah, it makes me happy, man, because I'm sick of people going to jail for...
I know. The victims are the people that go to jail for crazy time for a small amount of quantity, but there are winners, it's... I basically, as one micro entrepreneur, made $1 million. I wasn't in part of a cartel. I didn't have to kill anybody. Those drug laws were my golden ticket.
I was going to say, I think would you agree that a lot of your success, if not most of it, is due to the fact you were shipping it because you didn't have face-to-face exchanges, so you weren't facing as much danger and potential like robbery.
Right. Well, I think, but somebody on that end probably ratted me out. So it didn't. In the end, it didn't really insulate me from anything. It seems like it because it's like,
well, it didn't put you in dangerous positions.
Correct. It didn't. But at that level, you're not facing dangerous positions because you're only dealing with businessmen. When you reach a certain point in the game, unless you're dealing with some gangsters who finally decide that it's time to take you out and take your stash, you're dealing with businessmen. When you're dealing with hundreds of thousands of dollars every transaction, you are generally dealing with other like-minded, serious, upstanding individuals. So you're not dealing with street people. You're not dealing with, situations where it's going to turn into robbery. I had a couple of packages that I shipped out and never got the money back from. So whatever. So I cut them off. But the real rocks and those kind of relationships, when you form a bond with somebody when you pass them $50,000 a week, and they needed me because I was their connect. So the guys I was shipping my weed to on the other end, they were getting rich too. Not as rich as me, but they were making money. So they didn't want to blow that connection with me. So it wasn't a robbery thing. The issue is when you're sending that many packages, eventually, somebody's going to make a mistake.
What you said about sending out packages and not getting money back for, have you seen A Bronx Tale?
Of course, one of the best movies.
I think that's one of the greatest movies of all time. I think you should watch it.
Absolutely.
There was a scene in that movie where
now yous can't leave. And they just beat the shit out of the bikers, just brutally to
when he turns the sign.
That's right. Yeah. Locks the door. No, you can't leave.
He's what's his name? The guy with the long
Sonny.
last name, Sonny.
Colangelo. Yeah. It was Colangelo and Sonny.
What's his real name? The actor.
Oh come on, the Sonny, the main character, the Guinea. Come on, Chaz Palminteri.
Yeah, there we go. He opened for a comedian recently.
He was on Chris Stefano's pilot. He's friends with Chris Stefano. They're boys.
Oh, that's who he opened for. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't. Are you a fan of him?
Who, Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the History of Hyenas. Their podcast was great. They just split up.
His stand-up?
Yeah, I like his stand-up. I'm a huge fan of Giannis Pappas, his podcasting partner. Huge inspiration to my stand-up. Giannis Pappas, look him up. He is one of the great kind of
I'll check him out.
Underground comedians. Yeah, but he's blowing up now. Go ahead.
Sorry. What that reminded me of the people not paying you back for the packs.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, that's your loss.
Yeah, it's a couple $1,000 to not be in my life anymore.
Yeah, yeah. Like
I got off easy.
The scene for you who haven't seen A Bronx Tale, there's a scene where this kid like starts hanging out with the gangster mob, and there's this one scene where the kingpin is this guy named Sonny, and he's like teaching this kid like, this is how you got to do life, son. And
he runs the neighborhood.
And he sees this kid one day. He's all pissed off. He's like, "Hey, you get over here, get over here!" And Sonny sees him. He's like, "Hey, go here. What are you doing?" And he's like, "That guy owes me $20."
Right.
And he's like,
"Do you like this guy?
Do you like him? He's your friend?" And he's like, "No, I hate him." And he's like, "Well,
good.
You just for $20, you never have to see that piece of shit again."
You got off easy.
I was like, "Yeah, this is a good idea." That's like a good way to think about it.
Totally. Yeah. So. The guys that are really do the best in this business do good business. They're not gangsters. They're businessmen. I mean, of course, they have gangsters working for them. If things go bad and they need to go, things go the other way, they have hitters. But, it's mostly like the way the drug trafficking is a team sport. Nobody can do it alone. Like so many hands and people. And I mean, that's why they're built like companies. To get a kilo of coke from the jungle of Colombia to a Wall Street banker's nose in New York City takes like a dizzying array of cooperation, connections, of course, luck, right? But I mean, it takes 30 people. It takes a village to raise a kilo, as they say.
Probably a cemetery too. Every time I get some really good blow, I'm like, I wonder how many people died for this kilo that this came from.
Not a lot. It's the shit that doesn't get through is when people die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's when the kingpin gets knocked off. That's when the chaos happens. When everybody's eating, when there's stability, that's when violence goes down. You
ever seen someone get murdered?
I've seen people get stabbed in prison, but no, never on the streets seen anybody get killed. Been robbed at gunpoint a few times.
I feel like we got to talk about prison rape.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give us the deal on that.
So tell me about prison rape. Well,
it says here that you were kicked out of prison for being too good at rape.
Oh, dude, I was so good at rape. Nice one.
Sorry,
Hell
I told
yeah.
you I wasn't going to say it, but you told me to.
No. It was
I
good.
think that's
It
a
was
hilarious
good.
joke.
Yeah, no. They were like, Mitchell, you know what? We were gonna max your sentence out, but people have been complaining that you're just too good at shower rape. Is that true? I'm like, look, I don't know what to tell you. I don't like to brag.
Whose joke was
I
that?
don't like to brag.
Whose joke was that? Where they're like, if I ever go to prison, I'm going to go up to the biggest, baddest motherfucker in there, just walk right up to him and suck his dick.
I can't remember. Sounds like one of my early hacky jokes that I would have made. It's a good joke though. Prison rape, yeah, boom, it happens. But most sex in prison is consensual. That's the whole thing they don't tell you.
I read
most dudes that are banging each other are
lifers.
Yeah, usually lifers or just gay, but undercover, and yeah, I mean, look, prison rape happens, but it's always a power move. It's kind of like rape in the real world, It's usually not for pleasure; it's for power, and so rape is used to control somebody in prison. But the majority of the butt stuff that's going on is consensual, baby. Consent is sexy.
Why would? Did you make me look small? I don't like this.
Yeah, sorry. I hate to fucking.
You got a long torso.
I hate to out alpha you, bro, but that's just what's gonna happen.
I'm gonna kick your ass.
I'm not even in frame. That's how fucking tall I am.
Yeah, you got these fucking
You
pythons.
got pipes, bro. I got noodle arms. Ugh. I like them though.
Just fucking zoom in on my bicep vein.
Sometimes you would see like
don't actually.
Sometimes I would feel like I'd be on the basketball court and I'd be like backing a dude down, and like and I'd feel his hands would go like get a little too low on the waist, like he would wrap his hands around my hips, and I'm like, you know what, he's doing 20. Let him have that.
You're a nice guy.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a great guy, man.
Oh, thanks, man.
I smell chicken
I'm
Alfredo.
a great guy. I'm a great guy.
They're cooking down there.
Yeah. So that's
why
that.
did the rapes that you? How many rapes did you know about during your time? You were there for 3 years, right?
2 years.
2 years.
2 years. And I got sentenced to 3. I did 2. I suppose. I mean, I saw guys get stabbed. I walked onto huge black guys fucking each other. I mean, I lost all my money. But yeah, you're right. It was a walk in the park. Yeah. So I'm just so lucky. So
you could still be in there. There's a lot of people that did a lot less than you that are still in prison.
No, I agree. Look, I mean, but money fucking buys the world, right? I had a good lawyer.
Yeah, but you have time. You have time. You're a free man and you have time. You can always make more money. You can never make more time.
No, but I'm saying I had a good lawyer. I had a fucking $50,000 lawyer.
Is he Jewish?
No, he's a big fat Polak. With 4 fingers on his hand. His name's Gorski. We called him the Fat Man. I called my mom as soon as I got knocked. I called her from the county jail. I was like, "Mom, it's happened. Call the Fat Man." And this is when you realize your parents love you, is because you're like, they're gonna be so mad at me, and they're just, my life's over. The first person you call is your mom, and I called her. I was like, "Mama," and I was like, "It's happened. This is a reality. You need to call the Fat Man. Get my bail money ready." And she was just like, "Okay, sweetie." Like so you don't realize how much your parents love you until you actually get locked up, or hate you, or they'll say, "Fuck, good. It's for your own good. You need to get your life together, George."
I want to find out.
So
how many rapes did you know about that occurred in that 2-year time frame?
I don't know. Scores of rapes, to quote Abraham Lincoln. 407 rapes ago.
Doesn't that mean 40? What's a score, Charlie?
I think it's 13.
I think it's 20 years. I'll check.
No, it's not 20. No.
I think it's...
Well, 4 score...
And 7 years ago, so it's got to be more than
so
7.
In 1865, he said 4 score. So,
yeah, it's 20.
So it is 20. So
20.
80 years, 4 score, and 7 years ago. So 87 years ago,
So
our forefathers...
So 10 rapes a year.
Yeah.
What was the cause? What was the reason?
We're still talking about prison rape?
Yes.
This is like the hackiest... Okay. I have no idea, bro.
Everyone jokes about, like, oh, don't
It's
drop
not
the
that
soap.
big of a deal, dude.
Like, I think people want to know the truth.
No, the truth is it's a completely hyped. It happens often, but it's not rampant. What's rampant is the fucking fights and the shanking and the rioting. I was way more worried about that than ever was, getting my donut pumped. It's like only the biggest victims, it's the pedophiles And it's like the law of the jungle, right? Like the crocodile takes down the weakest gazelle trying to cross the river. Only the very weakest of the weak get taken like that, you know? Like it's very, that Edward Norton American History X shower scene is very rare. It's very rare, dude. So and then pedophiles, right? But they get killed more than they get fucked. You know?
Probably a good thing. They probably like getting fucked.
I mean, not the way they fuck them. I can't imagine, dude.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, unless you're into choking. unless you're into a knife to your throat, literally.
That's a women's prison.
Yeah. Yeah, no, those women's, dude, gals are so nice. You know, they don't sell, this is how brutal the prison system is. You know, they stopped selling candy. They stopped selling Starburst in the women's prison because the bitches would turn them into dildos and bang each other with them. Yeah, so you take a bunch of Starburst and you mash them up together, right? And you mold it into a fucking, a giant pink multicolored fuck stick. Isn't that wild? It's like, let the girls do that. Give them their sex toys.
I thought women prefer just diddling their clit.
No, that gets old. You need all kinds of shit, man.
I don't know. I
nice
feel like I
candy.
know more girls that are into clit stuff than penetration.
Oh no, I know way more
Maybe
chicks
I
that
just
are
have a
into.
small dick.
I know tons of chicks that are into Starburst dildos, dude. Just two-siding. It's like
That's how much I love candy.
You've seen Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah.
The dildo scene at the end. It's like ass to ass. It's just a candy. They're just sharing a Starburst dildo.
Do you remember? Have you watched all of Eastbound and Down?
Some of it's not.
There's
all
this
of
one
it.
scene where Kenny Powers is like having like an emotional moment. He's like, I feel like I'm in Requiem for a Dream, and I got front seat tickets for the double dildo ass to ass scene.
So good, dude. So good. And that's why I love that show, because it's so niche, right? Like most people don't get that reference, but if you don't get that reference, you ain't shit.
Yeah, fuck you.
You're a fucking dork if you haven't seen that fucking movie. You kind of have an Eastbound and Down. That is your energy, is Kenny Powers, dude. You have the mullet. You do look like an ex-pitcher. You know?
I got told I look like a baseball player last night.
You got a drug problem. It's the whole, it makes sense.
Solution.
It's on its way. It'll be here in 15. I bought Andy Dick a gram of blow for my podcast. I had him on my podcast, and mid he was being so antsy that mid podcast we had to cut so I could run out and get into a Mexican's Honda Accord to buy him a gram of blow. Andy Dick, who was a celebrity 10, 20 years ago, is now in my studio apartment podcasting with me doing cocaine. I mean, how far you can fall in this business is just knows no bounds.
Did he try to fuck you?
He didn't try to fuck me too hard. He got it pretty quick that I was, I'm straight as a fucking arrow.
Why'd you wink at me?
Yeah. It was like George and Seinfeld. Like he's got the shit in his eye. He's like, yeah. No, Andy Dick. Well, of course he tried to fuck me, but like he didn't get too handsy. I beat him up.
Dude, when I lived in Hollywood, there was this really good drug delivery service.
Right.
Where I would text this number. I saved it on my phone as the party line.
Right.
And I'd just be like, hey, I need a gram of blow. Here's the address.
Right.
And they just text me back my phone number, 1G, $80.
Right.
And then I'd get a text from another number.
Right.
And it would be like, ETA 15 minutes.
Right, dude. That's how these coke operations are set up in the big city.
So cool.
It shows up, dude. It's like New York. It's New York. My Coke Connect, or my buddy's Coke Connect. It's these Mexicans, and there's like 4 of them, and they all drive Mini Coopers, and they're all stationed in different parts of the city, and they're just taking calls day and night, bro. And that's how the fucking game. I'm getting chills thinking about it, bro, because like distribution is so fascinating. Like, how does a product that you can't advertise, how do you push that? And it's just so fascinating how a shipment will make it here past the border, in Yuma, Arizona, or El Paso, Texas, right? A shipment of 200 kilos, and how that just gets just fanned out across the country is amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Really, really bad. Our country's addicted to drugs.
That's
one thing that unites the right and the left is just rampant addiction.
Isn't the drug trade like the second biggest like GDP globally?
No, but the illicit drug trade. Yeah, of the illicit things, it's drug dealing. It goes drug dealing, and then I think weapons smuggling, and then I think humans. So I think it's drugs, weapons, humans, or maybe humans might be more than weapons now. There's so much money in human smuggling now because they're making the borders harder to. They're locking down the borders.
Are we talking sex trafficking or like smuggling
human smuggling, like because
like getting Mexicans in?
Yes, because the price keeps going up because they make it harder to get across the border, which the cartels love.
Like $6,000 a head.
Yes,
you fill a van,
yes, dude, exactly, and it's actually better than drugs because it's the people, if they get caught, they send them back, and then they just save up more money, and then they come back. Like it's you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you go to jail for a pretty long time.
No. Of course, if you're smuggling humans, yes, but
a coyote is a pretty big crime.
No, it's like getting caught with drugs. But I'm saying it's easier to get caught with drugs than it is as a person mule. Like it's easier to get away if you're just smuggling humans.
Why do you think that? Because a kilo is smaller than a person.
Yeah, but the quantity that you're transporting is greater, and you're going through checkpoints where when you're smuggling humans, you're going through the mountains. You have more. I mean, there's still tons of ways you can get caught that way. I don't know. I might be wrong.
Why don't you go through the mountains with kilos?
Because wait, you put 10 keys on your backpack? Like it's not. You could just put it in. There's so many trucks going through every day from NAFTA and shit that there's no reason to. You can hide it in the hull of a fucking giant garbage truck. Right, and you can. There's ways to insulate yourself too. You can set up a fake company. Right. Sometimes the people smuggling drugs over the border don't even know they're carrying drugs. So a guy will be, say, a truck driver, right, and he's working for a company he thinks is legit, but they're part of a smuggling operation, right? He's just but he doesn't know that. He's just the guy driving the trucks. So he's like, oh, okay, I got a receipt here, a purchase order. I got to get this shipment of bananas to. San Antonio. I live in Ciudad Juarez. So, okay, I'm going across the border. Boom, they stop you. They're like, whoa, there's a ton of blow hidden in these bananas. But the guy doesn't know. So that there's that level of insulation. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. I'm getting very distracted by the noise downstairs.
Oh, well, don't be. I'm being fascinating and interesting and articulate. Just go with it.
Is it Gary hitting the punching bag?
When I say professionalism, this is what I mean. This is what I tried to talk to Gary about yesterday, and he,
Text Gary Faust, stop hitting the fucking punching bag, we're recording.
I love this wood you have back here. It's really cool.
Yeah, the green screen was such a good move.
He's not supposed to break the fourth wall. They're supposed to believe that that's real panel.
They know. All right. That's enough drug talk. That was very fascinating.
Good.
Very intriguing.
Thanks, brother.
I have a lot more I'd like to discuss with you after the fact. Mm-hmm. But let's get into
go buy the book. Go buy the book. It's on
buy the book.
JohnnyMitchellComedy.com or on Amazon. You just go straight there. It's called Days of the Trap. Freedom is just $1 million away. It's I got it on paperback or Kindle if you like reading off Kindle. And it's a quick read, 200 pages. You'll love it. I guarantee. You loved it, right?
I absolutely loved it.
Awesome.
And I didn't even... It really made me want to be friends with you.
Wow.
Because the way...
How'd you hear about it? Just from me promoting it? Okay.
Well, because I knew about you. Like, we're not really that good of friends, but we've, like, hung out a couple times.
Yeah.
We're going to be good friends.
For sure.
I just remember one time you were like one of the guys like I'd see at the store like talking to the big shots and you'd always be there like chilling in your leather jacket,
right?
Like, oh, that guy's cool. And I'd seen your comedy, you're hilarious. And then
Thanks,
one time you saw my set and you were cracking up the whole time.
Yeah.
And then ever since then you'd be like, oh, hey, what's up?
That's
and
right.
I'd be like, oh, I feel validated.
That's right. That's baseline. If I don't like your act, I'm not going to talk to you. In general, unless you're hot and you maybe want to give me some pussy. But I like what you got going on, man. I think you got a lot of potential.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we were talking earlier about how I feel the need to self-deprecate on stage to open my act.
Yeah.
And I don't like doing that.
Yeah. So if you don't like doing it, boom, bing, 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 there's your first clue. Stop doing it.
Because some of my best jokes, or the ones that work the best, I hate.
Right.
Like this joke always kills. I started a new fake gym. It's called Counterfeit.
Yeah.
That's
I
so
want to fucking,
stupid.
I wish this coffee was hot. I'd throw it in
That's
your face.
so stupid.
Yeah.
And my favorite joke right now is it's about this cop who got arrested for having sex with his canine unit.
Uh-huh.
And then, dude, Gary is hitting the punching bag while we're recording and is pissing me off. Fuck. I'm turning into him, dude. I've been hanging out with him too much. I'm going to ruin this. And then I'm going to be like, you ruined my fucking podcast, even though I ruined it by talking about it. Go watch Gary's podcast from yesterday. It's hilarious with him. He was so mad.
Yeah, I'm really having a great
He's still
time.
mad. Gary usually doesn't hold grudges, and he's still mad at me.
As I told Gary, though, it's like if I was Tony Hinchcliffe, you guys wouldn't be acting this way. You know what I mean? So I felt that it was... Maybe, dude. I don't know. I don't think so. He saw Tony the other night. He almost shit his pants like a fucking schoolgirl seeing, Ryan Gosling.
Well, he thinks very highly of you.
I appreciate it.
That's why he's mad at me, because I missed out on our podcast.
Oh, all right.
That reflects badly on him in his eyes. And because I hyped you up a lot to him. And
yeah. Well, if you have headliners come through, I won't harp on it too much, but if you want to make this, something that regular headliners that come from out of town are going to want to do.
Have you seen that I'm doing Giggle Boys?
Yeah.
With Mike Eaton?
Yeah.
So
cool.
That's the headliner thing. That's the more professional one.
Got
this is just.
Do you do that here?
We do it at Vulcan, which is where the comedians perform.
Okay, that's cool. That's a good look then. That's keep harvesting that.
We had Jeremiah Watkins on.
Yeah.
He was our first headliner, and I don't think he was a fan of me because I went a little too dark.
Right. He gets very uncomfortable. He's a real church boy at heart still. They put on tranny porn while he was on the Legion of Skanks, and he had to walk out of the room. So it's I could have told you that. I could have told you. But anyways,
my favorite joke. This cop got arrested for 24 counts of animal abuse. They found 23 counts of 20 counts of animal abuse. Mm-hmm. They found 24 videos of him fucking this canine unit. Mm-hmm. I guess 4 of them weren't hardcore enough.
Right.
If you ask me, I think that was consensual. This is a trained.
Fuck
this
the
dog
police.
is a trained killer.
Right.
You're not gonna be able to fuck that thing without him being into it. And this is not a rape joke. This is a bestiality joke. It was a misdemeanor at best. And even if it, so I think it was consensual. But even if it wasn't consensual, the dog was still a cop, and fuck the police.
Yeah. See, I called it. You didn't hear that?
I heard.
I wrote that for you.
You ruined my punchline.
Yeah. So,
that's my favorite joke right now, and it doesn't really go over well.
Yeah, because it's it's just too contrived and forced. Like you're contriving too much instead of just being yourself. And when you go up there and tell the audience, hey, I know I'm this and this and this, it's just like it's amateur. Don't do that. Let them come to their own conclusions. What you need to do is bring everybody together, as I told you off mic, right? You do need to get a quick pop, and there's no science to that. It's jazz. It's whatever you can do at the time to get them on your side, right? And then it's just time. Like you have the writing chops. But it's like nobody cares about that. They want to know who you are, and they want to know your point of view. And it's just about figuring out what kind of comedian you want to be, right? So it's all those things. It's just time, man. I'm still figuring it out myself.
Oh yeah, it's a never-ending process.
Yeah,
it's kind of like, I hate sounding like Joe Rogan. But I honestly, I really hate being compared to Joe Rogan.
Crazy.
But he talks about literally everything. But when
so
I started
crazy,
doing
that's all he says. That's his favorite adjective.
Yeah.
It's weird. So weird.
But I feel like jujitsu is the same kind of way, where it's like you get all these little bits, all these little moves.
Right.
You can't. It kind of. And you just gotta like piece them together in a linear fashion,
right?
But it's also not linear because it's circular. Because you can start at any point and go from here to here. There's no like beginning and end. Mm-hmm. I mean, there is in the moment, but like in the big picture, like you can start in the middle of something and do a bit, from there.
Right,
and then you can even have a bit before that leads into that, and then not even do those jokes.
Right,
it's just patched up like that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's fascinating. So that's life, right? It's like it's never ending.
Everything's one.
It's infinite. It's infinite. It's like the act,
tail.
man. The act is never ending, and it's never static. If your act is static, you're going to start bombing.
Who are your favorite comedians Give me like 2 top favorite comedians that inspire you that you like want to be like.
Louis. Well, Louis was an inspiration. I don't necessarily want to be like him. I don't want to be like anybody, but
yeah.
But Louis was the guy that when I realized, like, I grew up on black comedians. I thought you had to be black to do stand up. I swear to God, I grew up on Cat Williams, Chris Rock, Eddie Murphy, right? These rock stars. I didn't know about these I didn't know about Dave Attell, until I was already doing comedy basically. But Louis was an inspiration. One of the reasons I got into comedy was Louis C.K.
Do you know Corey Holcomb?
Love Corey. One of the best, like, just fucking hilarious. He's a beast. Dude.
Corey Holcomb's set on
the Shaq, the 5-minute
All-Star Comedy Jam.
Yeah.
You guys, that is one
it's
of
flawless.
my favorite sets.
It's one of the
all
best
times.
5 minutes of all time.
Oh my God.
He's talking about abortion
Shaq?
clinic jokes. Yeah, exactly.
You see Shaq in the front row,
Shaq's like dying, dude. Yeah. No, it's masterful. But Louis was like the first guy I was like, oh, I could actually do this maybe. You know what I mean? Like, he's just an ordinary guy. So, but right now, Giannis Pappas is a guy that I really admire for his politics, the way he's able to take smart humor and make it funny. Tony Hinchcliffe in many ways, like I admire his fearlessness in the way he kind of owns himself. That's so I'm inspired from little different pieces of a bunch of people. You know what I mean? Anthony Jeselnik for his fucking writing precision. Who else do I love? Andrew Santino. Again, he's a guy that he's this real alpha guy, and that's kind of I think he's hilarious.
Is he gay?
Santino? No.
I thought I saw him holding hands with a guy in front of my...
You would have a story like that. He might be, dude. Who knows? He's married with a kid, but he doesn't in LA. That means dick.
Or maybe he's just walking with a buddy. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. It
was in West Hollywood.
He's fucking dudes, but he's not gay.
He's not successful enough to be fucking dudes yet.
Right. He's not Eddie Murphy. Get to pick up a tranny on Santa Monica Boulevard. Famous. Yeah. It's like slow down, guy.
My 2 biggest inspirations are Doug Stanhope.
Okay. Love it.
Anthony Jeselnik. I love Doug Stanhope because he has a message.
Yes.
He has like solutions to like social issues.
Yes.
And problems and stuff. Like I think Doug Stanhope is like the GOAT.
Oh wow, that's very Austin of you. That's very like alt. I like that. It's very like it makes sense.
Ooh, I like being called Austin.
Yes.
If you said that's very LA of you, I'd be like,
very Stone Cold Steve Austin of you. Yeah. No, I love Stanhope, of course.
And Anthony Jeselnik. Because of just like the setup punchline. See, the thing about Stanhope is he's so authentic and he brings you into who he is too.
Right.
Jeselnik, he has no authenticity in his act.
Right.
It's like you don't know who he is.
Right.
He has just nailed the setup, punchline, setup, punchline.
But he is being himself though. Like if you hear him off stage in interviews, like he's still his, robot. Like he's still being himself even though his jokes are not true. Yeah. Like they're all obviously it's all hyperbole. And
I'm just saying he doesn't like let you into who he is.
Right.
Well,
like, he's actually they say he's actually gay. He's the one who's gay. For real. You know what I mean? So
everyone's fucking gay, dude.
But
have you noticed everyone in Austin is kind of gay?
Everybody in Austin.
Everyone in Austin is bisexual.
Yeah. We're gonna kiss. It's gonna happen.
Charlie, put a towel over that camera.
Charlie, toss me a towel. I'm about to come.
You got hair on your ass?
Yeah, right.
He's happy to see me.
So, Colin Quinn too. Colin Quinn. Yeah, dude. Colin Quinn and Patrice and that whole Opie and Anthony.
Patrice.
Jim Norton, that whole Opie and Anthony generation. It's I want to be like them, dude.
Did you see Jim Norton's set on
The Degenerates? Fucking money, dude.
That was
so good.
I think that was his best set ever.
So good.
Of all time.
Could have been, yeah. It could have been.
His joke was
fucking hilarious.
His joke about how people like shit on comedians for saying fucked up things. Like,
right.
No one's joking about fucking kids, and then someone watches comedy and they're like,
I want to fuck kids.
But you know what is when you're doing a documentary on Ted Bundy,
right?
saying
they're like,
he's so
a
charismatic
genius and he's handsome.
Yeah,
they're talking about what
I know a ton of people that are like, I want to be a serial killer. Like I'm watching all these murder. I was like,
and when he's talking about
brilliant.
Like they're talking about what a great lawyer Ted Bundy was. It's like he defended himself. He got the death penalty. That's literally the worst thing you can do. He failed. He could not have failed more at his job. So good. So good. I love Norton, dude. So that all those motherfuckers. I'm really an East Coast comedian at heart. Like I never loved.
I've gotten that feedback a lot.
Oh, really?
That I have as well.
Yeah, I mean everybody kind of fancies himself that, but yeah, West
People
Coast.
say, keep going.
West Coast comedians never like. I like the Comedy Store guys. I realize how talented those motherfuckers are, but you know, my favorite guys were all fucking comedy cellar guys. I also love like Big J Okerson and. That whole clique. Big J is one of my favorites too. So, but really, if we're talking about West Coast guys, there's only a few of them like that I really kind of admire for their material.
Yeah, I've been told that L.A. comedians it's more about having like a shtick and a personality, and New York is more writing based.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. But still, though, Dave Attell. But it all bleeds over. Like Dave Attell, of course, his jokes are like legendary and the best, but it's his personality. It's his whole, like, it's music. When you hear his flow, yeah, exactly. It's music. That's a personality. So, yeah, it's less writing and more character driven on the West Coast, you know, because it's more acting. It's more, it's more of a personality based town, right? It's more of an entertainment town. Whereas in New York, the city, the clubs are tiny, and the act has to be efficient and fast. It's a fast city, you know, so you got to get to it.
What's your stance on performing drunk?
I'm against it. I think it should be illegal. I think it should be a
Yeah,
felony. Yeah.
First year and a half of comedy, I was hammered every single time.
Yeah, you told me that.
And
hammered, not just like you'd been drinking a little bit. You were drunk.
Yeah, I was drunk.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no way I can do this sober. And I was looking at my notes every single mic.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I'm not getting anywhere. I've been doing this for a year and a half. And then one night I was driving by Dunkies and this spot on Melrose, and they were having a mic, and it was like, I was driving by at the perfect time where I could get on. I'm like, okay, I am terrified, but like, I got to do this.
Yeah.
So I went in, and I was like very nervous and shaky.
Right.
Because I was an alcoholic. And
I like that adjustment.
I still am. I just drink a lot less. Except in this week. And people were kind of looking at me like, oh, this fucking, like, you know, this tall, good-looking guy, like, this guy's going to suck. He thinks he can do anything. And then I went up there, because the thing is, I used to be really fucking weird-looking. And that's why I started writing comedy. I started writing jokes because I wanted to, like, make friends and, like, talk to girls.
Right.
I didn't know how to just wing it. So I would literally write material to perform to, like, friends.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
like,
cool.
Just in, like, social interactions.
That's cool, yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, and then I went in and I crushed it, and like 4 people shook my hand after, and I was like, oh, I can do this sober.
Yeah, that's
cool.
cool.
And then I was like, from that point on, for the next 3 months, every single mic sober. I got booked on a bunch of shows.
Yeah.
I haven't used my notes on my phone since.
That's good.
And it's just been.
So you don't drink now before you go up?
I do not drink before I go up.
Great. That's why I'm not drinking. I got a gig tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Blow on the other hand.
Like you were saying, so we have kind of a similar look in, like, you know, we're both like tall, in shape, decent looking white guys, and you don't do self-deprecating material at all.
Not really. I mean, unless it's true, like my dick doesn't work, so my Viagra jokes are true. It's not.
But you don't open it, like, I hate opening with the.
No, that's what I mean. So that's why you got to stop doing that.
I need to venture off that. I need to find something else. Like,
it comes off as phony too.
You were saying to, like, interact with the crowd. And you did that. You did a beautiful job of that the other night.
Address the room. It doesn't necessarily have to be a crowd interaction. If the moment calls for it, definitely. But the main lesson to be gleaned from that is own the moment. Be in the moment. Address the moment. Get a laugh. Boom, you got them on your side. Because then the audience feels safe, right?
Yeah, and they feel included.
They want to feel included, but they want to feel. People are nervous that the comedian is going to suck. Mm-hmm. And so when you go in there and you show them immediately that you're their leader, you know, then they're going to say, they're going to laugh from relief. And then it's like, let's go for a ride. You're the fucking bus driver. We're in good hands.
Yeah. You opened with just by, like, pointing out, like, maybe 5 or 6 people, and, you know, ripping on them a little bit.
Yeah, and I had to address what had gone on with the host, David, and with these stuck-up bitches in the front row, you know, and I had to say, wow, that was like being a guest at Thanksgiving and the wife just gets hit, and then you have to turn to the son and be like, you know, so how was the first semester in school?
Yeah, that was great.
You know, yeah, so and then boom, and then I I address a few people, and then I'm off. Then you
So-
get to go into material.
Do you like scan the crowd and start writing jokes about them before you get on?
Yeah, half and half, And I look for, I always watch the comedian before me, so I see what's going on, especially if it's a showcase show. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people going up.
Yeah, I usually I'll look at people who might heckle me, and then I'll come up with a bunch of roast jokes about them.
Yeah. And the more experience we get, the less pre-writing we're going to do. It's just going to be off the head,
Yeah, there's a lot of people are like, so do you go up there with material, or you just, like, people don't know about comedy? Like, do you go up there with like a material, or do you just wing it?
Yeah.
I'm like, you can't really wing it.
Yeah.
But after
Good
you
luck
get
winging
enough
it.
material, you can wing it for like a little bit until it connects to your material.
Right, exactly.
So it's just kind of
That's why I felt so good at that show a couple nights ago, because I was just kind of going with it. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm out of riffing stuff. Let's go to material. And I forgot some material, so I'm like, all right, let's go riff. It's a dance. It's like a boxing match, right? And it's as much technique as there is like power.
Yeah, you have inspired me to do more of that.
Thanks, man.
So I'm going to do that.
You've inspired me to get a green screen. It's also bleeding through the
We're getting a little
the
green
graphics
reflection
right there.
here.
Yeah.
It's not bad, though. I mean, Charlie, how much does this cost?
I think like $100.
Yeah, it's so much cheaper than having a wood panel
Yeah.
with this printed.
Cast burgers. I like that.
Yeah, it's a mix of podcast and Asperger.
Right. So everybody you have on has Asperger's.
No, just me.
Nice. Do you really?
I like to say I do because it helps me get away with stuff.
Yeah.
Like when I'm talking, dude, honestly, I don't know. I might.
I wouldn't be surprised at all. I mean, did you see my shocked look? I'm like, do you have it?
Yeah. Okay. So I came up with the name because, actually, my buddy Chris Gonzalez did. He's a master wordsmith.
Ah.
Our text. Do you ever watch Letterkenny?
Yeah, I have. I love Letterkenny.
That's
hilarious. It's a Canadian show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys should watch Letterkenny. The back and forth there, that's like our text threads.
Nice.
Just like wordplay nonsense.
Yeah.
But when I decided to start the podcast, I was living in Arizona and I wasn't able to really do much comedy. So I was like, well, I should start a podcast.
When the fuck were you living in Arizona? You lived everywhere, dude. You on the run? Just kidding.
Yeah. Running from my problems.
Sure. Oh. Running from
How many women say that? It's cardio. Is it cardio, running from your problems? Have you heard that a lot?
as like a joke.
Yeah.
I don't know. I try to tune when those gals get on stage. I try to take myself to a happy place.
I've been trying to make a list.
It's like a rape. Try to wait for it to end.
Just close your eyes.
Just don't
dissociate.
resist. Just don't resist.
Actually,
that chick, the fat girl that was on the show, was funny.
I didn't see her.
If you smell that, sorry.
Oh, I just farted too.
Yes.
I think
So
they
we
just
synced up.
I think they just combined, and I'm like addicted to it now.
We made like a tornado. Yeah, because that smelled really good, dude. That was like I had some drinks last night, farted.
I was enjoying this smell of my own brand, and your shit got into mine, and now I don't know what to think.
It was like the Big Bang. It brought together all this energy to form a fucking
Flatulent homosexual now.
Yeah. God, you were a flatulent homo.
Flatulent flamer.
Yeah, you pretty much got to be fat
Flagellant.
as a chick to be
Fagulent.
funny. You got to be overweight. Don't you agree?
Yeah, because when I see a hot girl doing comedy, I'll laugh, thinking that they might see me laugh. And be like,
Right.
I'm gonna fuck him because he laughed, and then I'll be like, "You're stupid. Why would you think that?"
Yeah.
And then my dick will be like, "Shut up, dude. Just go with it."
Right. Chicks don't.
Like, dude, you fucking suck. Did you see the guy in the news that was like, "There's two things I trust in America: the First Amendment and boobs." Did you see that? was on
Pull it up,
CNN.
Charlie. Pull it up.
Yeah, let's play that clip.
Charlie's sleeping back there, dude. Should have had that pulled up. Jamie would have had it pulled up for Joe.
That was hilarious, but he was like, the two things that never done me wrong. And I'm like, dude, those are the two things that have fucked me over the most. Saying what I want and trying to get laid.
Tits.
Both of those things have completely fucked me over.
Dude, why does Austin have the best titties in this fucking fair country?
You think so?
Oh my God, amazing.
I think the girls here are a lot less attractive, but they make up for it in miles
compared to who?
Personality. Compared to LA.
No, I don't know, man. I find their personalities just as dumb as everybody but the tits are fucking milky, they're real, and they are saggy.
Yeah, there's not as much plastic surgery out here.
Yeah, no, it's good. They're built. I mean, they drink milk. They're fucking, they're thick, and they're all 20.
They're eating barbecue.
Yeah. So what? They'll fucking be washed up by 30.
So this is the clip, but y'all won't be able to hear it because it's coming through my headphones.
Well,
but I can play it for the.
That's pointless for us.
Yeah, so that's great. It's a great bit.
We'll just pretend to laugh.
Yeah.
Two things completely: the First Amendment and boobs. And so once they made the decision that they were not going to allow.
Well, there's a technological feature you guys are gonna have to figure out, but yeah, man, that just sums up America. Pretty fucking stupid, you know. So, because this country's built off making money, not on being intelligent. Like we don't put that much emphasis on, intellectualism. It's we applaud making money, and that's just how our country was formed.
Yeah,
capitalism.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Are you invested in GameStop or?
No, I got out of the market. I had a bunch of money in there at the beginning of the pandemic, but I sold it off. I had to pay for,
I just want to
heroin.
Rant about that.
Yeah. Huh? No,
moving on. So your show tonight, 9 p.m., 9:30 at Shakespeare.
Yep.
If you're in Austin, I'm going to be there. He's going to be on stage.
Follow me on Instagram at Mr. Johnny Mitchell. Buy my book. If you're in LA, doing a lot of gigs there next month. It's where I'm based out of. Follow the Johnny Mitchell Show. It's my podcast. We have a good time. It is, if you like wild, unhinged podcasting, I think it's one of the funniest podcasts, one of the last funny podcasts left. So,
how many? How's your ratings on Apple Podcasts?
I don't check the ratings, but I just go off the YouTube. We get tons of comments. The numbers just keep ticking up. So that's what we're focused on, man.
1.8 thousand views.
Is that the total? No, that's with
episode
William.
With
Yeah,
William.
that's with William.
Dude, William didn't share my podcast because he didn't like how he did on it, and he was like has like the biggest following of anyone
that you've had on. Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. Sometimes they don't. But I don't have people on for their numbers.
Come on, man. I knew you since you were at open mic and we started out together.
Yeah, he's been doing it a long time though. He just started out with you. He's been doing it since 2007.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He's a vet. Yeah.
What? Mm-hmm. In LA?
No, he started off in like Colorado. He just moved to LA a couple years ago.
Same with Malik. I started out with him.
Yes, you actually started with Malik. Malik's very young in the game.
Like we used to go to every mic together and shit.
Wow. So you guys were like mic homies.
Yeah. And now he's blown up.
Yeah, forget about it. You can't even get the guy on the phone.
He's got a fucking... No, he's still cool.
No,
Malik's a fucking great guy.
It's
kind of
guy.
annoying. It's kind of annoying how nice he is.
Yeah, he's
like,
so...
Dude, be an asshole. You have so much going for you.
He's so charismatic. He's so talented. He's so... And yeah.
Always happy to see you.
Yeah. We're having... He and I are... Yeah. We're good friends. But, it's complicated. But it gets complicated. But there's that much power and ego. Sure. I mean, I said some things on my podcast about his boss, Brendan Schaub. And now... they, meaning the people under him, Malik and Chappelle, they're not happy with me. So, because I've been kind of stirring the shit, which I don't want to do, but I had my reasons for going after him. I don't just attack people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he called you like a nobody podcast.
Right. So I took exception to that. And look, I guess I'm not a nobody because the shit I say on my podcast gets out. So I guess I'm doing decent numbers, right? Because if I was really that obscure, nobody would listen or give a fuck. So
yeah, I try to shit talk people on here sometimes.
For what,
help
though?
Spread it around.
Yeah, I mean,
notoriety.
That's not the kind of notoriety you want, though, in my opinion. I mean, unless they deserve it. If you're really in a podcast beef with somebody, I'd say go with it. But
well, I was telling you,
righteous about it.
The Dante thing,
right? Yeah. He's such a nobody, though. It's not even worth.
He was somebody at one point. He used to open
before podcasting,
like 20 years ago.
Yeah, before the cell phone was invented, he was relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah, when during the O.J. Simpson trial, I think he was having a pop. But
yeah, he used to open for
a long time.
Pryor.
Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
There you go. Pryor's been dead since 94. So
yeah. Next thing you know, you're going to be trying to buy him blow in the middle of a podcast.
I think Dante's currently opening for Robin Williams right now. So. Yeah, man. People, it's the times are changing so fast, and it's like, I struggle with, being a renegade, being myself, but also, I got to see these people. Like, there's consequences for what you do. So you have to learn what you can live with and what is just not worth the headache. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but, I'm legitimately, if I'm being myself and I'm being angry and I'm being in the moment and I think there's a reason for it, then I can justify that, So
another thing, you said you're not likable. You think you're not likable?
I think I'm not likable, man. Or maybe people in the business don't. I feel like people in the business don't like me.
How did you surpass that?
Well, just with being hilarious, like if I just working on my material and reworking it, like the act, ultimately your act is your currency. I still believe that. I still, like Jerry Seinfeld said it, it's like your act is what you hang your hat on.
Did you see his new special?
Jerry's?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
It was
good.
His best.
Yeah, definitely, dude. He's doing act-outs. He's fucking, bro, he's like he's 20 again.
Yeah.
He's a 55 or 60-year-old guy.
I've never liked any of his specials.
Same.
I've never been a fan of Seinfeld. And his last one, I was just like, holy shit,
yeah,
dude.
He's really good.
He was getting a little dark.
Yeah. He's cussing a little bit.
The difference between like great and sucks.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing. Like, this place is great. You got to go here. And then they go there and they're like, yeah, it wasn't that great. Yeah, this place sucks.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
No. And he's like rolling around doing act outs. But he's been doing comedy for 4 decades.
Yeah.
Over 4 decades. So it's like.
Fucking took him long enough.
Yeah, no shit, right?
Finally figured it out. Being the highest paid comedian for decades.
He's finally earning his.
Finally got funny.
Finally earning his keep. So. that just goes to show
what
you.
What the hell do I know?
It's a long business, man. It's just it sucks because now you can't make that kind of money anymore. Because sitcoms don't exist anymore. So you got extremely lucky. Luck and fate have a lot to do with anything, right?
What's your take on Andrew Schultz?
Love him. He's a fucking inspiration, man. I like his stand-up, but I love his business mind and his hustle. And yeah, no, I really respect him. I'm like, that's older brother right there. I don't even know him.
Have you met him?
No.
Yeah.
I said what's up to him, but this was before like he blew, but I already knew who he was. You know what I mean? So yeah, no, I fuck with him.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of him.
Yeah.
I didn't like him at first. I thought he was very hacky.
Well, because he's doing a lot of crowd work and he is using a lot of times, and he's got to be careful about that, and I'm sure he realizes that too. He's got to be careful with his kind of racial hack punchlines, you know? But he is so fucking quick that you got to admire that. But
yeah,
it's just something he has to work on. Yeah.
Because
sure.
I thought he was, I wrote him off at first.
Right.
And then I kept seeing him pop up. And then he I think he like pioneered the whole like 1 minute clip subtitles.
Totally. For stand-ups,
and,
absolutely.
I started doing that after. And
yeah. I try to model my whole operation after that.
He's even said before, like, I'm doing this, like I'm showing all the other comics like how to do it. I'm paving the way for you guys.
Right. But ultimately it's you can only do that once. Like, I mean, there is it's like saying Elon Musk is like, I pioneered the way for other entrepreneurs, but nobody's going to do it as good as him. So it's going to be something else that breaks the next guy like Schultz, you know? It's going to be something. It'll be a combination of what he does, but different, right? That's what show
you have a
business.
Prediction?
Shit. Could be me. Maybe. I don't know. Could be. It's a slim chance, but I don't know. I think I got something cooking. My goal is to be an internet guy that's also funny. So I want to do like these YouTube shit. Like, you know how YouTubers get huge followings through videos and shit.
And then they do boxing matches with Floyd Mayweather.
Right. But those guys usually aren't funny. I want to do that, but also have a great stand-up act. That's my goal, is to fuse those two worlds.
You ever seen Logan Paul's podcast?
Yeah, it's
God
mediocre.
Awful.
It is
god awful. He's such a terrible
He
host.
had Schultz on there, and Schultz is like...
He's had Dylan,
all those guys.
Killers.
Yeah, right.
And he just asks the dumbest questions, and he does the thing... Dude, I hate when people do this. Do you ever do this or no?
Yeah.
I hate when people end a question with or no.
It's like talking to a stupid, retarded, drunk bitch at the
obviously
bar.
that's the other potential answer. Like,
it either is or it isn't. That's physics, guy. It's the law of the universe.
Existential crisis mid-question. Do you forget what existing is?
Yeah, so sometimes I'm like, dude, if I got to be that stupid to get that many, I'm never going to be that big. So who knows?
Yeah, I feel like that's something me and you got in common, that we're just like unapologetically ourselves.
But listen. You got 1,000. Forget about that whole having 50 million followers. You got 1,000 super fans that spend $100 on you a year. What's that math? So that's 100. That's 100 racks. That's a fucking.
Bert Kreischer said that.
They all took it from Tim Ferriss, who wrote the 4 Hour Work Week.
Okay,
but that's his. He's like, get your super fans. You know.
Well,
Sam Tripoli.
Lost one last night.
Who's that? Oh yeah.
We're not going to talk about that.
That's right. You had a little.
Because I might be facing some consequences.
You had a little black belt moment there. You had a little fucking. You had a little dojo moment.
I was
there.
acting in self-defense.
You had a little Cobra Kai moment.
And there was a woman in danger, and
I had to help him dispose of a body. I don't want to say too much, but there is a missing persons report being filed right now.
They were missing when I got there.
Oh, missing. Oh, okay.
Dude, I'm such an alcoholic. This whole time I've been like, I want that pack of White Claws in my car.
Do you remember what we're doing? Do you remember my name? Are you here right now?
Dude, I'm pretty sure I'm like in a padded wall with a straitjacket, and I think I'm recording a podcast.
Dude, we could be in a simulation. I mean, now we're going down the Sam Tripoli, Eddie Bravo rabbit hole. Sam Tripoli, another example of a guy who never really had TV success, but finally, against all odds, he comes up with his conspiracy gimmick, right? My conspiracy is Sam Tripoli does not believe in conspiracies, by the way.
Whoa!
Love you, Sam. Just kidding. So,
another level.
You don't know shit. You don't know shit about the sixth dimension. Lizard people. I love Sam, dude. Sam's just the best. But he's making hundreds of thousands a year just from his like niche 75,000 follower fan base. So it's like, dude, it can happen.
Yeah,
if you're a fucking killer and you're relentless.
What I'm trying to do here. I need to.
But he's been in the game 20 years.
Yeah, I'm only 2 years into the
25
podcast.
years. Yeah.
So I mean, and this is going to reach more people than my stand-up ever could at a time. Like,
yeah.
You performed in a room with like maybe, I don't know, the most I've ever performed for maybe like 100 people.
So it's a beautiful time because you can reach thousands of people this way, and then you go on the road and you can sell a couple hundred tickets a market. So it's like,
yeah,
you just got to break through that. It's the tipping point, right?
Another thing I was going to, the reason I think you're destined for success, not only because you're hilarious, but you're also business-minded, which I find very rare, having lived in LA, is
right.
Having, being good with money, being business-minded,
right.
And also being creative.
Yeah.
I find that most people are one or the other.
Right,
and
especially in comedy.
Both, yeah. If you have both, that's the jackpot.
Yeah, definitely.
That is the fucking
definitely.
jackpot.
And you too. And it's probably why we get along so well. But that's what I saw in you, when I first saw you there at Fourth Wall. But it's becoming necessary. It's becoming exceedingly necessary, unless you're an industry darling, right? Unless you're one of these and white guys, that'll never be us, right? Not until the next cycle, right? Not until we white people are slaves and then we get free and then everybody feels bad for us, So,
well, I'm a Jew.
Oh, that's a good point.
I'm capitalizing on that right now.
Dude, it doesn't seem like it. You got to Jew it up, dude. You got to cut the hair. You got to trim. You do have a Jewish beard. You have like an Israeli Jew look right now.
My new opener that isn't as self-deprecating. I say that I'm so Jewish that I grew this mullet so I don't have to pay for cleanups every couple of weeks.
Oh, okay.
I'm so Jewish. I turned Christian because the Bible's free.
Right. We got to talk about those jokes. We got to get rid of this. But what I'm saying is, unless you're an industry darling that gets everything from just handed to you, like some people we know, right? Like they're just pushed by agents and managers from the get-go, right? That's very rare now. Like you can't just be creative for everybody else. You got to be business-minded. You got to figure out how you're going to reach people. And you
or
have to,
someone business-minded is going to take advantage of you.
Right, correct. Correct. So, yeah.
All right, man. Well, hey, it was great having you.
Good talk, dude.
I've been trying to get you on here for fucking
months and months and months.
And I was supposed to do it yesterday, and I fell asleep.
That's right.
Fucked up, and we still did it.
Yeah, we got it done, and then we got a show tonight, and then we're off.
We're gonna have a good fucking night.
We're off boogieing. We're off boogieing.
Saturday in Austin,
hanging out with a couple of good-looking African American men. That always brings women around.
Dude, that guy's so good looking.
Oh Jesus, dreamy. Dreamy, and he's 6'8". Fuck, and he's proportional. He's not like a goofy string bean like me. The guy's like well built, and he's
Shout out to Nate.
Nate,
I've literally showed girls pictures of him. Be like, look how good looking this guy is.
Yeah, fuck me.
Am I gay?
Yeah. You're just showing him. Yeah, like look how you tell me you don't want to fuck me. Look at how good looking this guy is.
All right,
just think of him.
Like and subscribe and share all that shit. Block my number probably. We'll see you next time.